Let me see the questions. Do you have them?
I got them right here.
Oh, shoot. Damn, bro. Should prepare me at least.
I know, we're coming in hot. All right.
Let's do it.
Thanks, Juan, for having us. Wonderful host here. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your business real quick, and then we'll dive into all the questions I got for you.
Yeah, for sure. So a little bit about me. I come from a very humble family. I don't come from a business mindset when it comes to like building your own business or anything like that. I come from just working in a regular job. I was a security guard, and honestly, I didn't know what I was going to do in my life. I thought that I was going to eventually become a police officer.
No way.
And, I was in school a couple years, and I was in just different jobs here and there because I was a hustler at the same time. And then eventually I started developing leadership skills. And, I joined the business where I'm in the financial industry, but it was more about leadership. It wasn't too much about, the product. It was more about leading other people.
Right.
And that's how I started. And thank God that's why I have the life that I have now, because I went into leadership and business at the same time.
Right, and thank you for the hospitality here today. I can tell you've been working very hard on this.
That's
and
right.
It is surprising to hear you maybe didn't have the business mindset, because I met you at a networking event.
Right.
Business mindset is kind of like bleeds out of you. So when did that change happen for you? You're just working the regular 9 to 5 or just hustling multiple jobs. When did it change for you that I'm not an employee, I'm a owner? And how did you make that switch for yourself?
Right. That's actually a great question. And it does take me back to how everything started. So I remember just one day attending this business seminar, and they were showing about, the 4 ways of making money, which is the quadrant, I think is from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And they were just showing how you can make money as an employee, as a self-employed, as a business owner and investor. And that's where it was the first reality check for me, because when they talked about being an employee, they said, you clock in, you clock out, you have a 30-minute lunch. And I felt that nasty feeling in my stomach that I was like, man, that's exactly how I feel at this moment. So that's when my wife and I made a decision, and we're like, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And that's when we're like, okay, let's actually go after being a business owner. Let's go after accomplishing our goals and our dreams, because we had big goals and dreams, but our paycheck was this small. And this time we're like, we have the opportunity to, have better income and actually accomplish our goals and our dreams. Let's go after it. So we made a decision in an event. And I've heard once that big decisions are made in big events.
Okay.
And in that event, to me, it was the definition of making a big decision. And that's where everything started. The spark came from there in that
And that
seminar.
was that event with the 4 quadrants they're talking about.
Yes.
And was that the first business seminar event you had gone to? Wow. So first exposure, you're like, okay, this is kind of for me. This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
So take me back. How long ago was that? And what is your daily mindset today? Because even before this, it's Saturday, you're working.
Right.
You come straight from the office, suited up, looking great, on point. What is your daily mindset? And take me back to how long ago it was that you decided to get on this journey.
So it was about maybe 15, 16 years ago that we made that decision. And our defining moment was more when I had my first child. When my wife got pregnant. I mean, we were young. She was only 19. I was 20 years of age.
Wow.
When we were, known as we're going to be parents. And that's when we had a defining moment, and we had to make that tough decision. Like, okay, are we going to be stuck where we're at? Or are we going to give our kids, our future kids, the life that they deserve, or the life we're going to afford? And we said, no, we got to give them the life that they deserve. So that was when we really, really made a decision. So that was 15 years ago.
Wow.
That we said enough is enough. And to be honest with you, now where we're at, 15 years after, I don't feel that we are just working for income, even though that's great. I mean, we always want to strive to make a lot more income, but it's also more the impact behind it. that we could have? How many lives can we impact in the process? You know, how many more people can we take up there with us?
Right.
We're all about pushing people up, man. We're all about pushing people up. And when you push people up the way that we got pushed up as well from our mentors, you know, our mentors always believed in us and always poured that belief and said, hey, if I could do it, you could do it. We love doing that now with our people. Like we say, hey, if we could do it, 20, 21 years of age, and now 15 years after, this is where we're at. This is a lifestyle. This is a house. This is the options you could have. So can you, you know? So just get after it. It's all a decision that you got to make.
Right. And that decision kind of stems from wanting to provide the best life for your family. How important do you think it is, and it's not talked about in business a lot, but having healthy relationships, or having, like, people say your business is like your kid or you're married to the business, but having an actual family that you're working for, do you think that you would be in the same position if that hadn't happened?
Having my
like,
daughter?
Like having, like, was that, do you think just that desire to provide the life that you wanted for your family, like, was that the biggest thing that you think changed for you?
I would say it was more of a purpose now.
Okay. Yeah.
I would say instead of just going after a dream, I feel like it was more like going after our purpose.
Okay.
And I feel that it was God's plan, because at the beginning we were thinking all the wrong things, which is we want to just make money to be rich. Right. But when we had our daughter and obviously our family started growing, it wasn't about like, let's just be rich, which of course everybody wants to get there, but it's also about, we're going to have more options for us, for our children. So the purpose behind it got stronger.
Yeah. Okay.
And even now, my kids, they're already, you know, older. I have a teenager, right? One that's about to, and the other one's a little smaller, but even now our purpose is still strong, because when you're really working towards a purpose, you can't ever retire from a purpose. Right. You know, so we just stay focused on the mission, which is, you know, to be able to be the one, not just to change our life, but also generations to come. Mm-hmm.
Now tell me a little bit more about the impact that you're able to help make in other people's lives. Like, what is the kind of impact you're talking about? And how does that feel when you do that? You see it, you take somebody, maybe a client or, you know, however your business, you know, functions, and you bring them to that point. Maybe it's a year or two, same relationship, building that. Like, what is that impact that you're able to provide for people, and how does that feel when you do it?
Our impact is in many ways.
Okay.
It's, yes, of course, with our clients. You know, we literally teach our clients what the banks and insurance companies don't want you to know, right? And not just that, but also we teach people, it's not a loophole, it's the law, which is how to pay less on their taxes.
Okay.
You know, as simple as the new law that you could pay your children $16,100 a year, and that's a write-off. Right. A lot of people don't know the little things. Like I said, it's not a loophole. It's what? It's the law that people don't know when it comes to money. So we teach people on that. We teach, you know, we expose certain companies because all they care about is making a penny. We care about making a difference, and that's the difference there, right? So when it comes to our clients, we definitely change their lives when it comes to saving more money, or when it comes to making more money. In every area, when it comes to their financial life, we're there. But in reality, I'm more of an impact when it comes to my team.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me about that leadership. You know, I met one of your teammates here, Carlos, who's been with you from day one.
Day one.
What is it about the leadership that you had before you had your own team that helps you become a better leader? And how do you lead? What's the process? What's the mindset of the leader?
I believe that leadership starts as a beginning, and that's leading you, right? First, you got to lead yourself before you lead others, right? Because you're a great example. For example, let's do an exercise. Let me show you this real quick, if you don't mind, right?
Do it.
So just follow me real quick. So let's say I say, hey, so follow me, right? Go like this, and then say, touch your chin. Ready?
Oh.
Exactly. It's a little confusing, right? Because I said chin, but I'm touching my what?
Your cheek.
So why am I touching my cheek, right? Because people would always do what you do, not what you say. You see the difference? I said chin, right? You touched your chin, I touched my cheek.
I know, but I wanted to move it
exactly.
right up.
So
as
now
soon
you're
as
like
I saw
this.
you, I was like...
So that's when it comes to leadership, right? First, you got to lead yourself before you lead others. People will do what you do, not what you say. And when it comes to leading our team, you got to be the example in every area, right? We believe on a successful person is not just successful financially, which of course that's important, right? Financial options. But a successful person is being successful in your finances, being successful in your faith, being successful in your family, and also your fitness life, right? It's the 4 F's. That is being successful. And how you lead one thing is how you lead everything. How you do one thing, you do everything. So being a leader, it's not easy because people are looking at you.
Yeah.
You know, how you respond, how you do all of the above. When you're a leader, you have influence, right? And when you have influence, you have that weight of, man, you got to become the example for other people. So I think that's my business where I'm at. It's more of a leadership. It's more of impacting people. It's more of pouring belief into people. And, you know, when they feel discouraged, when they feel they can't take a step forward, that's when I come in and say, yes, you can, right? Give me a little bit more.
Right.
You could do this a little bit more. And that's what I love about business, right? In the leadership role, not just in business of making money, but in the leadership role, I just love the fact that you could show people how to become a new version of themselves. You know, and they maybe never thought, or maybe they don't even believe in themselves, but I believe more in them than what they believe in themselves.
You can help them rewire the brain and
100%.
like instill that into them. When you have those moments where you don't feel that way, who's giving you that? You know, how do you show up and be a leader when you don't feel like it? What do you tell yourself when you run into those blocks? Because it's not every day is going to be the same. You might wake up one day, you might have not gotten enough sleep, you might have had more work on your plate than you could take on, like whatever it may be. What do you say to yourself when you're feeling like, man, I just really don't want to show up today? And how do you overcome that?
I think everybody goes through that. I don't think there's one person that says, oh, I think I got to figure it out.
Yeah,
right? Like, no, I think that person's lying. We're all humans. And I think everybody goes through a moment of discouragement. It doesn't matter how much of a leader you are. We're still humans. But you see, that's why even leaders know when to call their leaders, right? It's kind of like the experts know when to call their experts.
Okay.
And I have my expert. I have my leader, right?
Gotcha.
My leader in business, my leader in my faith, my leader in life, right? So in my finances too. So you have your leaders that you could contact when you feel a certain way. And, you know, that's why I'm here for my people, because I know my leader is always there for me.
Right.
You know, and when I feel discouraged, when I feel that, oh my goodness, I gave everything I got for this person and I feel backstabbed, right? Guess what I call? My leader, because my leader has gone through it maybe times 10. And I'm like, hey, this is what's happening. This is how I feel. How did you respond to that? How do you do that? And then obviously they guide me, right? The way I guide my people. And that's what leadership is. Leadership is influence, you know, and he influences me to influence my people in a positive way, to believe and to know that we could become better.
Right. How did you find yourself in that situation where you had somebody to provide leadership for you? Because I know a lot of people might not have a good mentor or a leader in their life to follow currently. So was there a special program that you got into that got you in touch with leaders, or do you have any sort of recommendations on how to find that if maybe that program's not available? I
think I got blessed, to be honest with you, and I think it was just a God plan that meeting that I'm telling you that I showed up, my first business meeting that I showed up to, the guy that was talking about the 4 ways of making money, he's the same guy that's my mentor now.
Wow.
So, you know, he's taken me from the hand and hey, you know, you're 20 years of age and now maybe you're 36. It doesn't matter how old you are. You always need somebody there for you. And he's been our leader since the beginning. He's been our mentor since the beginning. So I got blessed when it comes to that. I got blessed that I don't have to pay for mentorship. Like a lot of people, I know a lot of people have to pay for mentorship. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not discrediting that. But what I'm saying is when it comes to our business here, we have the top of the top in leadership and we don't have to pay for mentorship. And I know that if I call him at 2 a.m, he'll pick up.
Wow. Super
successful, man, has impacted millions of lives when it comes to, business. And I'm just blessed to say that I could just pick up the phone and call him and he'll answer.
Right. That's amazing, man. I read that book by Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah. Do you have books that you read currently? How do you sharpen your edge? Because you stay sharp every day, all day long. How do you sharpen that edge as a leader? If maybe you can't, you're in the middle of something and you can't take a phone call or you're busy, what do you do on a daily basis to sharpen your mind and your body?
So one of the things that I'm very intentional on is always being not just sharp, right? Because you dress how you want to be addressed.
Yeah. Okay. Say that again.
You dress how you want to be addressed, right? So if I want to be addressed as somebody serious, oh man, this guy, he's my financial advisor, let's say, right? Or this guy's the one that I trust with my money, or this guy's the one that's my leader, and he's the one that's taking me to the next level. If I want to be addressed like that, I better take responsibility and say, I got to dress sharp, right? So people could take me serious. And also, it makes me feel good too. But the reason I always stay sharp, mindset-wise, also, physically-wise, is because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to meet that either you could impact their life, or you never know who you're going to meet that they could impact yours, right? So I always want to just stay alert. I want to, a lot of people party, a lot of people drink, a lot of people do other things like that, right, to have fun. How do I stay alert? Doing none of that.
Right.
How do I stay sharp? I don't drink. I always want to be alert, right? While people could be in a gathering drinking, guess what I'm doing? I'm talking to people. Guess what I'm doing? I'm dressed sharp. I'm not drinking. I drink water, but guess what I'm doing? I'm paying attention to everything and things, right? So I read different books, but more important, I listen to a lot of audios.
Okay.
A lot of audios, we could say I listen to a lot of, for sure, of, there's just a lot of people. I don't want to name somebody because there is a lot of audios that I listen to, but one of them that's my favorite is Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn is one of my favorite teachers when it comes to business mindset. And my direct mentor, his name is Mario Arizon. They're the ones that I listen to the most. But most important to have a healthy spirit, it's the Bible and worship, man. I believe that all the blessings that I have, my family, financial blessings, just the breath alone that I take on a daily basis, everything comes from my Lord and Savior, and that's Jesus Christ. So just staying on the Bible, staying on worship, always giving the glory to God, and reading different books that are going to help me mentally in a business perspective.
Yeah.
There's a book that's called Relentless. I love that book. That's the book that has helped me when it comes to staying relentless in business. It's hard to stay relentless when you're financially set, right? It should be easy when you're broke.
Yeah.
Right? When you're broke, you don't need other motivations to go to work and to build a business or do what you got to do. But when you're okay financially and you still do it, that makes it hard because a lot of people just throw in the towel and say, okay, I'm set. I don't have to no longer do it. But you see, that's the difference between a leader and just a hustler. A hustler works for themselves and a leader works for others, right? When you're a leader, you don't say, I want to make it happen for me. A leader says, I want to make it happen for them.
Right.
Let me push people up. And when I'm on the top, the only time I'm ever going to look down on you is because I'm going to lift you up with me. That's the only time, because I'm going to say, hey, come up here with me. That's the only time. But other than that, I believe leadership is staying sharp all the time when it comes to your mindset, and your heart has to be pure, right? That's leadership.
It just ties back to what you said in the beginning. It's not about the income, it's about the impact.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to ask, at what point in your life, in developing your business, family, whatever, as an individual, did you find that strong connection to your faith? Because I think that is another thing that provides a lot of purpose
100%.
For a lot of very successful people, whatever that faith may look like, but when did you discover that? Because a lot of times it's given to us when we're born, family kind of forces you to go to church or whatever. Right. And then, but to develop that on your own and have your own relationship with God and Jesus, when did that happen for you?
So it happened for us, right? And I say us because it's my wife and I, where we got to the point that we were doing okay financially, but we still felt that void. We still felt empty. And we're like, man, if this is what it is to be successful financially, I kind of don't want it. because you still feel empty and you're like, what's going on? You feel lonely. You feel like you're the only one. And we're like, man, I don't know. I don't know if this is really what success looks like. Like we're missing something. And it got to the point that it's crazy the way it works. My mentor, it goes back to my mentor. We pulled up to his house, which it was actually this house. I actually bought it off him a couple of years back.
Wow.
Right? So this was his house, and we pulled up, and it's crazy. We were not saved yet, so we were actually gonna meet to go to Vegas that day. And as we showed up here, he's like, hey, I want to introduce you to a friend real quick, without me knowing who this friend is. And he's like, look, this is my friend, this is my guy Juan. I want you guys to meet. It was just an introduction. Again, just like you and I, right? You never know who you're gonna meet, right? So we met, and the guy just randomly looks at my wife, looks at me, and he's like, hey, I just feel like I gotta pray for you guys. Do you mind if I pray for you? And my wife and I, we looked at each other and we're like, no, of course, go for it. And he started praying over us, right? And honestly, we felt something we never felt before. We felt peace. He laid hands on us. He started praying. And we just felt that peace, that it's not, you can't explain it. You just can't explain it. It's something you don't want it to get away. That you're like, dude, I just want to stay here, because we haven't felt that peace. Even though we were financially okay, we didn't have that peace, right? The temporary peace that people seek, that's not what we were looking for. We wanted, real peace. And that was a moment that we're like, I don't know who this God is, but I want some of that. And that's when we got in contact with him, and we said, hey, do you mind every Friday come to our house and teach us the Bible?
Wow.
And we started reading the Bible, and then we felt the calling of starting a Bible study.
Yeah, you're telling me about that.
Yeah.
You said the only Bible study with maybe a Scarface being in there.
Yeah, and then we started a Bible study, and now we have hundreds of people that have been here to my house for Bible study every Thursday.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you still keep up with it every Thursday?
Every Thursday, we have Bible studies here, and it's just amazing, man. It's awesome to see your people's lives change, not just in the worldly things that we talk about, but it's awesome to see your people's life change in their spiritual walk with the Lord. That's different.
Did your desire to have that impact, does that coincide with this connection to your faith as well? Or did it kind of maybe develop as a byproduct of having strong faith? I think the impact is in general. For me, the impact is, like I said, it's impacting people in every area. In every area. The 4 4s were financial, fitness, faith, and
family.
Those are good 4.
Yes.
Okay. Man, and you got 4 good F's right here. I'll tell you, man. Very, very wonderful place, family story. I want to ask, I have to change the cameras in 5 minutes, but at what point did your upbringing lead you to this place? Like, what kind of upbringing did you have, prior to working security? Did you grow up out here? And obviously you speak Spanish. I mean,
Poquito. I'm just joking a lot.
Se llama Juan. Por eso.
My name is Juan, so
but no Spanish. That's an inside joke for us. But yeah, like, what was it like growing up? Did you grow up here in California? What's your whole background going back in time?
I was actually born in Mexico, right? So I was born in Mexico. My family was going back and forth. I think I was about 3 months old when they brought me here, and then we went back when I was like a couple months old, and we just kept going back and forth. But by the time I was 5 or 6 years old, that's when we stayed. And I always saw my dad working so hard, working hard every day. I wouldn't see him, and that's where I got the work ethic from, I think. I got the work ethic from my dad when, I would see him leave early, come back home late. And I didn't know he wasn't making a lot, but I just saw that he was providing, even though there was 22 of us in the same apartment.
Wow.
There was, my family's huge. My dad has 11 brothers and sisters total. So
how many beds?
It was actually a 2-bedroom and 2-bath, but
22?
It's funny. it's funny because in the night you'll be walking and you got to be like hopping, because if not you'll hear the you stepped on somebody, because everybody was laying on the floor, and there was 22 of us in that apartment. And again, I thought it was normal. I'm like, that's how we roll, but no, it wasn't normal. They were struggling financially. And then as we kept seeing that, I remember the first time my dad bought his house, the first house. And we were so excited. We're like, wait a minute. We don't have to be 22 people in one apartment. Like, that's weird. Like, I thought that was normal. And they're like, no, now it's less of us. Now it's actually only 11 in the house. And I'm like, that's why? Like, why do we have to do that? Like, I like having 22 people. It's crazy because you get used to it without even knowing what you're getting used to. Right? So now it was only 11 of us in the house. And then eventually it was just my dad and us and my mom. So we went from 11 to 5, and I started seeing that now it was actually a family. But this happened already when I was already maybe like 15 years of age.
Okay.
So, like I said, I always saw him working so hard to provide. I was 7 years of age when I used to go with him to work. I used to put tile, marble, and I was a 7-year-old kid just working. Mm-hmm. He will pay me like $70 a day. And I always earned my money. So by the time I was 15, I already had about 3 jobs. Mm-hmm. I was working in Kmart. I was working in construction.
Really hustling.
I was a hustler. Yeah, I was a hustler. So I didn't know anything else but to work. And I was still in high school. So my teachers already knew that I would work nights at Kmart. So when I would show up to class, my first period teacher, she would just give me a banana and a yogurt. And she's like, eat it, fall asleep for the whole hour, just make up the work. So she already know. So I come from working hard. So I know what it is to work hard for your money. So that's why now I got to the point that I'm like, I'm going to work hard, right? Because that's just who I am. But I'm also going to work smart. And eventually you got to let your money work for you instead of you working for your money all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's why I feel like I am where I am today, because I'm so grateful for my past. If not, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Right. And that story is just like American dream, like struggle, life, culture, family, everything. And that's like, I want to just sit for like minutes and just unpack that. What can you say, man? Like that was really, have you told that story to many people? I feel like that's something that not a lot of people get to know.
No, I don't bring it up as much because they don't ask me that. Yeah. They just ask me how my business life started. Now,
like
how was it as a
22 people, 1 2-bed apartment. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. I mean, speaking to
something that I forgot to mention, when my wife, when she got pregnant, we actually moved in together, and it was a little garage. Mm-hmm. So as a 20-year-old, 19-year-old, we were living in a garage, and it was just, I mean, it's a garage, right? And I just added a little restroom there, so we know what it is to not have a lot of options,
right?
And I just wanted to point that out because we didn't come from wealth. We didn't come from where we're at today, but we do come from a family with respect and a family with work ethic. And, we do come from that. So.
Right. So you've come a long way from where you started. Humble beginnings, to say the least.
Yeah.
Now, where do you see the next 5 to 10 years for you going? Let's talk.
Now we're talking.
Let's talk about about that future vision. You know what I'm saying? Like,
heck yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Man, the next 5 years, anything can happen in the next 90 days. That's what I believe in. I believe that, again, it's who you meet. You're one relationship away from an explosion in anything, and it's who you meet. And I feel like the next 90 days, I'm not even going for the next 5 years. In the next 90 days, I know that God has something in store for us, right? And if we talk about the next 5 years, I believe that so many lives are going to get impacted in the next 5 years. Definitely, if we talk about, financially, it's going to be in a whole new level 5 years from now. If we talk about physically, I'm not going to be this skinny no more. This jacket shouldn't fit.
You're going to need a new tailor.
It's a new tailor for sure. If we talk about our faith, that never stops. We're never going to be perfect when it comes to our faith. I feel like we're the most imperfect people. We are the most imperfect people, but I feel that we're never going to stop striving to know Jesus more. And we're, building our Bible study more, because that's really our ministry. Our ministry is working with people, and how many lives we could, we can help, fill up heaven and empty hell.
That's
right?
beautiful, yeah.
And when it comes to everything else, our family, for sure, no more kids. That's a for sure. No more kids. I feel like right now my attention, I want to give my girls, I have 3 girls, and my wife, I want to give them my whole attention and just create amazing memories and, just do great things that I haven't been able to do because of the grind, right? The grind don't stop. Not because we can't stop. Yes, we can. We could smell the roses, right? But we choose not to. Because if God gave us this blessing, the blessing wasn't just for us. The blessing is how many people are we going to help get up there, right? So that's why we're not going to stop. But my attention is going to go to my kids and my wife a lot in the next 5 years for sure, other than our business.
Right.
I am going to expand my agency even more. My goal in the next 5 years is to get from, to 8 to 10,000 licensed agents when it comes to our organization. We want to make sure that the more agents we have, the more impact there is. Right. And the more families we could serve.
And what's the current size of, we didn't even dive into that much at all. So what's the current size of your business agency, however it's structured?
So this year we're on track to having 500 licensed agents.
Okay.
That's what we're on track. But then the compound effect comes in. And when we have that compound effect in the next 5 years, it should be around 5,000 to 8,000 licensed agents.
Awesome.
For sure.
That's amazing. And licensed to do
everything in the financial industry. We help people, like I said, we help people save money, make money. We just teach people what the banks are never going to teach you. Right. That's what we do. But most important is we teach people how to have values. We teach people how to have vision, right? We teach our people how to have integrity, which I think in this generation now, a lot of people don't actually appreciate the fact of, hey, there's a word, right? Now it's more like people are questionable, like, oh, can I really count on this person or not? So we teach our people more like, hey, your word.
Be a man of your word, be a woman of your word.
Your word is important. We're not trying to go that old school, right? Like before, but at the end of the day, that's a core value that people need to have now.
You're like, no more emails, only handshakes. No, just kidding.
Handshakes, man. Handshakes are important.
Right.
Locking eyes. There's a saying that says your energy introduces you before you introduce yourself, right? A lot of people want to introduce themselves like, hey, I am Mr. Juan Jimenez. But you see, that's not attractive. So we teach people how to be attractive. Do people want to be around you? Right? How's your energy looking like, right? How do you sound? Like, do you say, I'm here and I'm so excited right now. It's like, okay, if you're excited, right? It's like, tell that to your face, right? Or show your body language. Those are the things that we teach our people now. It's, hey, body language is important, tonality is important. Face expression is important. Your word is important. How you carry yourself in general is important, It's not
just the words on the script or the whatever,
No, and it's not just somebody in business. Like, okay, people see you like that in business, but then what happens when you're not around people?
That's
do you still dress the same? Do you still carry yourself the same? That's very important. Obviously, none of us are perfect. There is good days, there is bad days where you're like, man, I don't know what to do. But at the end of the day, it's not what happens, it's how you respond to everything, right? It's all perspective. Those are the little things that we teach people here.
Right. And then in raising 3 daughters, what do you see? What has that taught you about being a leader as well? Because you've got, 3 kids now that, see, do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
But with that, could you elaborate a little bit on maybe the role that fatherhood has played in being a good leader?
I strive to be the best leader for my girls, right? And they know something that it's Jimenez, don't quit.
Okay.
That's what we do. Yeah. So when they feel like discouraged or when they feel, oh, Dad, I don't know if I want to do this, I remind them like, hey, remember, Jimenez, don't quit. And they're like, oh, yes, Jimenez, don't quit. You see, those things are important because I think the perspective of everything, it's what's going to give you the solution to everything. It's the perspective, right? We never try to see a problem as a problem. We see it as like there's a solution to a problem. There's always a solution. And those are the leadership skills that you need, not just for people, but also your family, your children, right? How are they going to respond to things? How do they see you responding to things? And I think you got to make sure that you represent the right way so your children will follow that.
Right.
That's what leadership is. Yeah.
Well, you're clearly being a very good leader for everyone, people around you. And then another thing I wanted to ask was just kind of the hardworking nature, your culture, where you come from, everything. But when it comes to, I guess, in the broader financial world, representing Hispanics, Latinos, like what can you say about the culture that you've been able to like really uplift and help and all of that? Like, there's not a lot of, financial leaders in this space who are Hispanic Latino. So you coming from the background you came from, they're hardworking people, the hardest working people, but maybe they don't let their money work as hard as they do. So if you could elaborate a little bit on what you think you can provide to the grander, community as a whole, and the Latino Hispanic community coming from, your whole humble beginnings. Like, what can you say to the rest of, the people out there that, hey, you might be missing this, you might be missing this piece. Like, tell me about that.
I honestly, seeing my parents work, my dad, right? Seeing my dad working so hard, right? That's respectful as a provider. But what happens is that we're taught to work hard for our money all the time, and you never get out of the same cycle. It's always the same thing, right? You're working hard, and you're providing, but you're not focused on the generational wealth that you could create. We're just focused on paying bills. So in my community, right, when it comes to Hispanics, right, one of the things is that, or Latinos, I would say in general, is that a lot of people work so hard, and as soon as they get that paycheck, let's be honest, what do we really do with that paycheck, right? Our paycheck doesn't come with instructions, right? There's no manual like, hey, this is your paycheck, and you're going to save this much, you're going to invest this much. It doesn't come with that. But that's where I come in. I am your GPS for your wealth, right? You need the instructions from your financial planner. So in this case, right, what I do is I teach people that instead of getting that paycheck and paying everybody else first, which that's what we do, how to pay themselves first, right? And a lot of people, they actually lack on that, right? They don't pay themselves. They pay everybody else, but as soon as we have a couple $100 extra after paying our bills, what do? We spend it. So I teach my community, it's instead of spending it, you first pay yourself. If you don't pay yourself for your future, nobody's gonna do it for you. There's a saying that says, if you learn how to save money now, your money will save you later, right? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't save money now, don't invest their money. One, they don't know how. They never got around it. Two, maybe they think they can't because they don't know their budget. Or three, let's be honest, maybe some of them just rather have that instant gratification and say, I'm going to enjoy my money now because if I die, I don't take anything with me. And that's the wrong mindset.
It's not a growth mindset.
It's not a growth. That's a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset is I'm going to work hard, I'm going to enjoy now, and who cares about tomorrow? A growth mindset is I'm going to work hard, I'm going to enjoy, and I'm also taking care of the future generation. Imagine you and I, our parents knew about generational wealth, right? We would have been, in a completely different level, right? Not that I was going to rely on the money that they save for me, but at least our mindset was going to be different in a way of like future generational wealth. Now, everything we know now, we had to learn it because of reading books, listening to audios, but it wasn't passed down from my parents. So imagine what we're going to pass down to our kids.
Yeah.
The future generation, right? About how money works, about everything in life is not given, it's earned. You work hard, but you invest your money, right? And you take care of the future. That's what's about. And our community, right, the Latinos, they don't know too much about where to save their money. They think the bank is the best place because of safety. But what they don't know is the bank is actually using their money to make more money. So that's why we bypass the middleman and we send you directly so you can make more money from your money.
And that's like, I feel like I just sat down for a consultation and I'm ready to go, man. That was
That's
awesome.
right.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
What is the most rewarding part about the work that you do today?
The most rewarding part, I'd say, is the freedom of it. At the beginning, you don't see the rewarding, you see the price you got to pay to earn the freedom. But freedom isn't free, it comes with the price. And the price was all the hours, you know, the effort, the sacrifice. I wouldn't even call it a sacrifice, I call it a trade-off. A sacrifice is when you get nothing in return. A trade-off, in this case, all the trade-offs I did, which I missed some birthday parties, I missed gatherings. I let go of some old friends that didn't want to change, right? Because if they're not willing to change, I was, right? So I would say that doing that and now being where I'm at, the most rewarding is the freedom that I got from it and that we continue getting from it, because now we have options and we have freedom in a way of we don't have to work for money. You know, a lot of people trade their time for money. And that's temporary if you're building a business. If you're in a job, that's forever. I would rather trade money for time, because the most precious thing that we have is not money, is time. My kids are not going to see a daddy again, right? Once I'm gone, I was their only daddy. And if I didn't spend time with my girls now, then when?
Right.
That's why I'm so grateful that I started building a business young, right? So I could have freedom young.
Right.
You know, you do whatever you want with whoever you want, whenever you want. I mean, because you want.
Right. And you still put a lot of time back into helping people, which is
100%.
Which shows that you're on the right path, like God plan. Like love that thought. It shows in your schedule. I mean, working just to set this up, it was perfect. So I do love to ask a few questions to all my guests, and these ones, there's no right or wrong answer. But the first one is, what does it mean to you to be human?
What does it mean to me to be human?
Yeah.
What it means to me to be human, if we go back into biblical times, when God created Adam and Eve, it was to have companion, to have, you know, not to be alone, but to be with one another. So as humans, we're meant to be with others. You're not meant to be alone. So to me, what it means to be human means that we're not perfect. Adam and Eve were not perfect. To be human means that we're going to make a lot of mistakes. We're going to make the wrong choices. To be human means that we are created in God's image, even though we're human. So that means that we should always strive to be the best we could be as a representation of God, right? You know, a different version of yourself, right? There's many things what it means to be human. Most importantly is learning from not just your mistakes, but also learning from others. I think that develops wisdom, you know? So that's what it means to me to be human. And
I think that's a good answer, yeah.
And honestly, too, it's a commandment, which is to you know, what is it called? To keep duplicating, right? Which means go have more kids.
Right. What do you say? Proliferate or something? Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's what it is to be human. You know, it's go out there and create more disciples of God.
Yeah. And then what makes you feel most alive in your day-to-day life, in running your business and being a human?
What makes me feel more alive, it's weird, but it's really grinding. It's working. Working makes me feel, I mean, it gets tiring, don't get me wrong. I'm human, right? Let's go back to what's human, right? I'm human. But if I'm not growing, I'm dying. So I think I'm always striving for more. And that makes me feel alive. And then that's why you got to set yourself in a position that you're always winning. You know, there's a book that I read that is called The One. I think that's the name of it. the one, and it talks about growing 1% every day. If you're not growing every day, then you're dying. You know, it's kind of like, there's a quote that I read once that says, you know, people don't die when they're 80s, they die when they're 30s, under 30s, because that's when they stop growing. That's when they stop living. Exactly. They stop living. They stop growing. They stop dreaming, right? They have no more goals. Life is mundane when they're 30s. Why? Because they didn't strive for getting better every time. So that's what brings me happiness, which is I got to keep growing in every area. Every area. I don't care if I think, oh, I'm doing good in this. No, that, you know, good is the enemy of great. We got to keep pushing forward and become great at everything we do.
You've got a lot of these nice maxims, like good is the enemy of great. You said it's not about the income, it's about the impact. Do you have a favorite set of sayings that you kind of refer back to? Or are these just in your head? You use them when you're pitching, you know, you use them when you're out networking. Like, are they just all sitting in your head, or how did you kind of come across some of these maxims?
I've heard my mentors say that. I don't think anybody knows something because they're brilliant. I don't think they're like, oh, I came up with this. Every successful person has learned, has read, has heard from somebody else. Okay. And I think that's why people are successful, because they're the best copycats.
Oh, yeah. Speak to that a little bit more, yeah.
So in my case, you know, things that I'm sharing with you is not because I came up with it. My mentors, right? And I give credit where credit's due. It's not me. It's my mentors, or the wisdom. When you read the Bible, you get wisdom, right? When you read books, you get wisdom. When you listen to audios, you get wisdom. So it's not everything that you learn. It's something, I mean, it's not something that you created. It's something that you learned. Right. Makes sense? So the things that I'm telling you is because I learned it from somebody. You know, it just got stuck. You had some good teachers. And I have great teachers, yeah. You're a good teacher too. I can tell. You probably instill a big percentage of your energy into people when you sit down with them. I mean, you've done it for me, but I can only imagine for people walking in, you know, trying to figure out how they're going to provide for their family, and you can set them up with a plan. That's 5-10 years down the line, they're doing better. So what is the most challenging portion of your business and balancing that? I've started a lot of grinding, there's a lot that you do. So what's the most challenging part of this, running your own business, being a leader? And then how do you find balance? So challenging to me is not in a negative. Challenging to me, it's challenging me to become better, right? So the most challenging thing for me when it comes to this, you know, my business, which it's challenging for everybody, we're working with people. Yeah. We're working with people. And when you're working with people, you're supposed to have conflicts. You're supposed to have disagreements. You're supposed to, if you want an environment or a team to grow, that's supposed to happen to grow. It's kind of like we pray for patience, and then somebody comes into your life that you're really like, oh, God, give me patience. It's like, okay, be careful what you prayed for, right? Right? You'll be tested. You'll be tested, exactly. So for us we're tested with people, because we have so many people that we come across on a daily basis. And the most challenging, which is not in a negative, like, oh, challenging puts me down. No, it's in a challenging way that makes me better. It would be people. That's the most challenging. I was an introvert, by the way, believe it or not. I don't believe you. I was an introvert. I was an introvert when I was small. Okay. I remember my parents saying like, hey, right? You know what that means? Stay quiet or I'll spank you, right? You go to the store and they're like, right? Like you ask for something or I'll spank you because you know we can't afford it, right? So when you are raised that way, you're raised of not having a saying, or you're raised that your opinion is not valuable or whatever it is. Maybe because I was a troublemaker, I'm being honest with you. Maybe because I would talk back to my parents at that time, and they had every right to do that. But again, when your parents tell you no, that's why I try not to tell my kids no a lot, because that word no gets engraved here, and in the future it hurts you, right? You hear a no and you think it's bad, when a no means nothing. Does that make sense, right? So that's when sales starts at no, right? Exactly. That just means next opportunity, right? In a positive perspective now, right? But what was I forgot. What?
Oh man, I
I don't know where we're going with that.
Challenging. What was the most challenging part? But you answered that really well. And then think about, what is a challenge? Well, it's just like, it's an opportunity to find success in a different way. So I was asked that question recently, like, what's the most challenging part about, what you do? And I was like, well, everything is a challenge if you think about it. Like, I wake up today, I'm challenged with the thought of, am I going to do my best today or not? Every day I wake up is a new challenge. So it's like, everything is challenging, or it is a challenge, but it's not all challenging. It's like, we can overcome those things.
Exactly.
We can do better through that.
Yeah.
So balance was the other portion of that. Do you seem like you have a very regimented schedule, and you block out time and you value it and protect your time with the utmost, like, strength and respect. So how do you find balance in a busy schedule over decades? How do you set enough time aside for, one, yourself, and then two, the people that you care about?
So I believe that it's not about balance. When you're trying to be somebody in life, balance doesn't exist. I think it's managing, right? Putting things on your schedule. Because it's never going to be a balance. Like, okay, it's either my business or, for example, I'm with my wife, right? That's important. Don't get me wrong. There is times that I put my phone away and I give my wife the attention. But my point is that sometimes it's like, okay, we're in business together, right? So I'm with my wife, and at the same time, we're in business, right? Right? It's like, okay, we're in business. Or, we could be with my kids, for example. If I do give them that one-on-one time, that's different. But that doesn't mean every time I'm with my kids, I'm going to have a balance. This is not a 9 to 5 where I'm going to go to work 9 to 5, come back home and now with my kids. It doesn't work that way. Remember, how you do one thing, you do everything, right? So I think that my personal life, it's my business life. My business life is my personal life.
Yeah.
I am here and I'm at the office. It's the same, because my wife could be at the office. My kids could be at the office. Everything's one, if that makes sense.
Everyone's aligned. So you don't have to, when we think of balance, we think of it as like two forces opposing each other to find some equal ground, when really it's like they're kind of aligned, and where you don't have to balance it because you're centered together. Which is that's nice to have. Honestly.
It's just managing your time, putting things on your schedule.
And having people in your life that understand, one, they want what you want. They're on the same path as you. And they understand that, like, what you do is that path forward. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's important to set those boundaries with people. It's important. Is everybody going to be in agreement? No.
It's not going to be perfect. Yeah.
That's part of leadership. Leadership means that not everybody's going to be satisfied and happy. Leadership is, you call the play. It's kind of like you're in a sport, right? If you're in a sport, you're like, hey, coach, put me in. Even if the play is not convenient, but you want to be in, right? So when it comes to leadership, you chose the leadership role, and guess what? Now you got to be a leader. And that means that being a leader, sometimes you got to do things that is not going to please somebody else, but you're a leader, right? If you look at leader, right? Jesus Christ, the best leader ever, in my opinion. What did he do? He got the Pharisees, right? He got different people that they thought they were religious, uncomfortable. That's leadership, calling them out, right? So I want to follow the example of a leader, which is not doing what things are convenient or when they're convenient, but doing them when they need to be done.
Doing it with integrity.
With integrity, of course. That's what a leader is.
Even as a leader, he was still crucified. People still wanted him dead. So you can lead in many different ways, but hopefully, no one's putting you on a cross anytime soon, Juan. I don't know. I wouldn't imagine.
And if it is for the gospel, I'm willing.
Exactly. Was there anything that you wish you could tell yourself as the 20-year-old who walked into that meeting with all the knowledge that you know now? Is there anything that you wish you could tell that version of Juan?
Yes, I would actually tell the 20-year-old Juan that it don't matter that at that time, some friends were not going to, see the vision that I had or I have, that it's okay if maybe his own parents, wouldn't see the vision yet. His family wouldn't see the vision yet. And I would tell him that it was going to be worth it, because obviously looking back now, it is worth it. And if I knew it was going to be this worth it, I would have worked 10 times harder. I thought I worked hard, but now when you compare the life that I have now to how it was when I was 20 years of age, I'll be like, man, I would have worked way harder to have the life that I have now. 100%, to have it sooner. Why? Because it's so worth it to be able to look at my kids now. And remember, to me, it was a no, but now look at my kids and say yes. Obviously, there's no when you don't deserve it.
Right. Not ice cream for dinner every night, but.
Exactly. Instead of like, no, because I can't afford it. You see that? So I would rather tell my kids, no, you don't deserve it, than no, because I can't afford it. And if I knew that alone was going to change everything, working hard, I would tell my 20-year-old, work harder, because it's going to be worth it when you have kids.
Right.
Definitely.
That's a really valuable lesson. Just time is so valuable.
Yeah.
And it's really valuable when you're young. And there's a lot of young generations of people who can utilize a lot of the leadership and everything you've learned.
Yeah.
So where can people find more of, Juan's leadership, or if they want to, get into business or something, where can more people find what you have to share so you can make more impact?
Yeah. I'm always in Instagram. Juan Jimenez has a bunch of underscores, right? It's unique, right? It's J_U_, and so on, after every letter. So it's very unique. You won't miss it. But I'm always there in Instagram. I'm always posting. I like to post things like my house to sell people the dream, like what they could have. It's crazy. This is a crazy story. Back in 2017, this house was built from scratch. But I remember coming into this lot when there was no house. It was just dirt. And I came with my mentor, Mario. And he said, I'm going to buy this lot. And I'm going to make an infinity pool here. And I'm going to, make this house looking this way, looking that way. So he sold me the dream. That's the power of a leader. It's selling the dream, right? And he sold me the dream. And I said, Coach, make sure the house looks sick, because I'm going to buy it off you. And he looked at me straight at my eyes. We locked eyes, and he said, I see that in your eyes. And if you stay focused, it's going to happen. Mark my words. 4 years after, I bought the house, right? So why am I telling you that? Because your dream will come true, but you first got to believe it. You first got to believe it. That seed has been planted in your heart for a reason. You are the chosen one that God chose to go after that dream. It wasn't your brother. It wasn't your sister. It wasn't anybody else. It was you, the one that God said, you're going to go change the world. One man could change the world, and that could be you. And that's what happened here. Now people come over and they're like, man, this is sick. I'm like, dude, one, this is a blessing from God. And two, I'm so honored to say that this was my mentor's house, because I believed that I was able to buy it. It's just awesome the way God works.
One more quick wrap up. That was to be sitting here in this house, sitting across from you, in this house that was built by your mentor, and you're in it. That's like, dude, it's very symbolic, but it's real. It's so real. Right. Thoughts on manifesting versus hard work. I came up with this phrase the other day in passing, like, I worked really hard on myself to manifest this life. You know what I mean? So how much of it was belief, and then how much of it was, actually putting in the hard work? Because a lot of people in our generation, millennial generation, we're talking about that at the beginning of the show, Gen Z, they don't want to work hard. They just want to have the benefit, the instant gratification.
100%.
So tell me a little bit about maybe the level of belief and mental work manifesting in your mind, but then also going out and doing it.
Right. So I believe that 100% of it has to do, yes, with hard work, dedication, commitment, and don't back down from what you said you're going to do, right? I believe in that. But also, it's not too much about manifestation, which that's important. You got to believe it, right? There's something that I read one time that is called it's called T-bar. T-bar stands for your thoughts becomes your belief, and your belief becomes your actions, and your actions become your results, right? That's called T-bar. So yes, I agree with believing first, right? So that way your actions and your results will manifest, right? But the Bible talks about the power of the tongue, right? The power of the tongue, which is it's either speaking life or death. And I believe manifestation is because of the power of your tongue. So it's not because just you manifest things like, I'm going to manifest this and I don't believe in that. I believe on the power of, it's either life or death, what's coming out of you. And when I told my mentor, when I said, make sure this house looks sick because I'm going to buy it off you, it already came into existence. Why? Because how did God created the universe? He created the universe with what?
Just snap of your fingers.
He said it.
He spoke in there.
He said it. The power of the tongue. That's
there
how important it
is.
Exactly. So if you say, hey, in the next 5 years, are you going to have 5 to 7, 8,000 licensed agents? I say, yes, I'm going to have it. I'm going to have it. And I keep saying it because it's the power of the tongue. And I got to believe it too and put the work behind it. So I feel like I did work hard and I keep working hard now. I think I work harder now than what I used to. Put it that way. Different reasons of the work ethic now, right? The reason why we work for different reasons. Back then I was broke. I needed to work. Now I love to work. I get to work. I think back then we're like, I have to work. And now I get to say I get to work.
Wow, I get to make this life. I get to do this.
I get to go out there and help families. I'm blessed. I get paid for helping families, right? I'm blessed. I get paid for leading others to make them the best version of themselves. Pour belief in, I get paid for pouring belief into people. That's amazing, right? So going back to your question is I believe that I keep working hard. It's not something I did, it's something I'm doing, and I think that's what separates a lot of leaders. There's my mentor, for example, he's well off. My mentor is young, he's 40 years of age. But this guy, what other people will never see in their lifetime, this guy makes it every month. I'm talking about millions of dollars every month. And he's still on the grind. And that's a huge inspiration because I'm like, man, you don't have to. Why? We get to. Why not? God gave us this blessing, and it wasn't just for us. It's the ripple effect that you have on people, that you get to lead them to be just like you, part of the leadership there. Right? So we continue working hard. It wasn't just for the house. It's for what's coming. It wasn't just for the dream then, it's for the dream then that we're going to have.
The dream
that we still can't even imagine yet. At the level I'm in right now, there's dreams that I can't even imagine yet. Once I get to another level, then I guess I'll start thinking bigger. Right now, I think I'm thinking big with 7,000 licensed agents and making $1 million a month and this and that. I think I'm thinking big. Once I'll start making $1 million a month and I have 7,000 licensed agents, my mentor is going to look at me and say, why are you thinking so small?
Right. All perspective.
It's all perspective. So I guess we'll find out.
Right.
What God has in store for us.
One question I wanted to ask before we wrap this up. I feel like from people younger than me, around my age, 20s, 30s, younger, there's a lack of belief in the future. There's a lack of belief that, everything is going to kind of work out. Like you said, you get paid to instill that belief into people. So if you could extend just one message on believing in the future to, anybody who might come across this, what would you say that why should we believe in the future,
100%. First thing that I want to say is, don't let social media, right? Don't let social media discourage you. Some people could use it as discouragement. Some people could use it as an inspiration. And if you're going to watch this video, I don't want you to compare yourself on, I could have that. I could have already have that. How come I don't? Because comparison is the thief of joy, right? So when you start comparing, man, why is it that I don't have that? I'm better than this guy. I dress better than this guy. I this, I that. You're going to be miserable. So if you watch this, it's going to be more for inspiration. Man, if this guy could do it, he don't even speak that well. He don't even look that well. Like, come on. I could do better things than this guy, right? Not in a competition level, but in an inspiration level. Like, man, I could actually make my goals and dreams come true. And I want you to know that you are more than capable of doing it. Why? Because you first got to believe in yourself. Don't let other people believe more in you than what you believe in yourself if you want to make something happen, right? So if you watch this video or you hear this podcast and you're like, man, I want to go after my goals. I want to go after my dreams. Make sure you use this as a fuel. Use it as a motivation. It can happen. That it's not just about other people becoming successful, but God wants you to be successful too. He wants you to have a life of abundance, not a limited life. You know, I don't know what God you serve, but I serve the God that wants us to have a life of abundance.
Right. Same.
It's
let it inspire you. Whatever you see, like, let this inspire you. Someone 100%. Said that on my last guest, Uno Mas. They're a Latino DJ crew. And he said that exactly, like, let things inspire you, like, you come across on the internet. So that's really cool you said that.
Yeah. Let it inspire you. Let it move you, right? Let it take you to a whole new level that you never thought you could be in. Like, that's what this is for. And I appreciate you having this interview, because the only way for people to actually see what's possible out there, it's seeing somebody that has something they have, right? Not as a comparison, but again, as an inspiration. That's the way that I get inspired. I see my mentor's life and I'm like, man, that is phenomenal. I'm inspired. And I feel that people that are going to watch this are also going to feel inspired with this.
Well, I hope so. And it's all about the human experience, what you said about humanity and your thoughts on it. Yeah. I think it's like, we do need to be together.
100%.
We're not here alone. And I said this when I met you. I was like, we're going to do some big things.
That's right.
We're going to do some big things.
We're just starting, man.
Just starting, bro.
Let's go.
But not like, ooh, but more like.
Amen. That's right.
Amen. Well, thank you. Thanks for having us. Like, yeah, this is a super beautiful house. Everything you said is true. It's phenomenal. And this could be you.
Yes. Get it. Let's
awesome,
go.
Bro.
Heck yeah, bro.